Okay, well, we're going to start now. So, thank you all for coming to this session on bridging digital inequalities and challenges in multicultural societies. And first things first, I'm going to hand over to our online moderator so that he can explain to you the rules for this session.
For the people on Zoom, my name is Daniel Michels, and I'll be the remote moderating on this session. More information about the session and speakers is available on the EuroDIG wiki. We encourage you to raise your hand if you would like to present a question, but if you'd like me to ask the question for you, please write Q in front of the question. Also, for the session rules, please enter your full name on the chat on Zoom. To ask a question, raise hand using the Zoom function. You'll be unmuted when the floor is given to you. And when speaking, switch on the video, state your name and affiliation, and do not share links to the Zoom meetings, not even with your own colleagues.
Well, thanks. So my name is Pilar Rodriguez. I'm going to be your moderator for this session. I'm from the Internet Governance Forum in Spain. And first things first, I would like to thank our IGF sponsors, Telefónica, Google, TikTok, as well as Digitales and Digital for their support in bringing the Spanish IGF to EuroDIG, as well as Jax for being our rapporteur for this session. So joining me here on this panel, we have three experts. Aaron Ring, here on my right, from the Israel Internet Association. Igor Seliasin, sorry if I mispronounced your name, from the Research Council of Lithuania. And Dr. Eva Ossianlison from the International Council for Open and Distance Education. Both of them will be joining us online. I hope that they're already inside the Zoom session. So in this session, we will be exploring the challenges, implications, and solutions to digital inequalities in our multicultural society. And in order to do so, I will first give the floor to Eden to introduce the Israeli study case. So the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Pilar. I'm very happy and honored to be here in this forum to present our work on digital inclusion in Israel. First, I would like to say a few words about the Israel Internet Association, which is also the Israeli chapter of Internet Society, and it has a few multiple activities and roles. We are an independent nonprofit organization established in 1994 to promote internet access and integration across Israel by convening diverse stakeholders and fostering collaborative action. We work to ensure that the Israel internet remains a reliable, secure, independent, and competitive space that serves the interests of users and the wider public and all groups in Israel, of course. We also manage Israel's country code top-level domain, the registry.il, and Nekuda Israel, IDN registry, and the Israel Internet Exchange. And since 1995, we are the Israeli chapter of the Global Internet Society, and we represent the country in international bodies like RIPE, and NCC, ICANN, and Center. Our core mission includes promoting fairness and equal access to digital resources. We advocate for digital literacy and digital inclusion and strive to make essential public information accessible to digitally underserved population, marginalized populations, which I will talk about here soon. Through programs and educational initiatives, ISOKL helps broaden public understanding of the Internet's educational and economic potential while advancing digital trust, safety, and everyday resilience against online threats and dangers. In the field of online safety and security, I would like to elaborate about, wait, I didn't, just a second, I forgot to share the slides. Just a second, sorry. It is. Okay. So the first function I want to elaborate about is the Internet Safety Hotline. We operate in Israel for more than a decade now, which is the most veteran hotline dedicated to online harms in Israel, which provides Israeli users tools, information, and support to prevent and respond to a wide range of online harms. And our Internet Safety Hotline responds to hundreds of monthly reports from diverse social media and Internet users from all groups, and is recognized as a trusted partner and reporter for leading tech platforms, including leading social media global companies like Meta, TikTok, and Google, hosting services and URL shorteners. And in this function, we report and escalate harmful, abusive, or illegal content and activities for users to various platforms, acting as a first responder in Israel digital spaces. When addressing security and safety and diversity of Israeli digital space, it's important first to understand the Israeli demographic and social landscape, which is fragmented and but also hyper-connected society. We have a cultural and multilingual, marked by significant social and ongoing political tensions and conflicts, which also have their implications on digital landscape. Despite this complexity, it is also one of the most digitally connected societies in the world, with very high rates of social media usage and penetration, and growing cyber threats like we heard about in many workshops here yesterday before us, but also very low digital literacy rates, especially among minority groups, and no formal regulation, state regulation or supervision of social media platforms like you do have here in Europe, which makes these challenges even greater. And the Israeli population includes, like you can see here, secular and conservative Jews, Muslim, a very big Arab, Muslim, Christian, Druze, a minority, and very large immigrant groups. Each has distinct languages, cultures, and socioeconomic conditions and needs. And these differences also manifest in digital access, digital capabilities, and the overall impact of the internet on daily life. And with the rapid spread of AI technologies and applications, we all already know, like in many countries, also in Israel, these disparities are only deepening with penetration of AI and becoming more and more complicated. So I would like to elaborate about our approach to promoting digital inclusion and bridging the digital divide inside Israel, which is, first of all, inclusive and participatory. Our ISOC-IL model for digital inclusion embraces a multi-stakeholder approach to promoting digital rights, inclusion, connectivity, and safety. As a civil society organization, we work with state institutions, with academia, with tech platforms, but also we work to elevate and integrate voices and agency of community, of diverse groups, and of users to impact these strategies and programs, especially marginalized groups. And we do this through civil society partnerships, academic research, and bottom-up community-driven initiatives. The first thing, which is actually the base for our advocacy framework, is a three-tiered model that assesses and quantifies digital gaps across diverse groups. First level is inequitable access, basic access to digital infrastructure and devices, actually connectivity, electricity, and smartphones for computers that is not equal across the country. Second level digital divide is inequality in digital skills, literacy, capacities, affecting the ability of different groups to navigate online platforms, analyze information, and use digital tools effectively. And the third level digital divide are disparities in outcomes, in the impact and effect of digital connectivity, and the meaning of connection to the internet, such as education, employment, healthcare, access, civic participation, and of course, digital rights and safety that result from unequal digital capabilities and access. This is will give a short snapshot of three main groups inside Israeli demographics and society, and that have very distinct internet usage and capabilities and connections. The first, and we mainly focus on these three groups in our activities. The first is the Arab citizens, the Arab society in Israel, which are 20% of the population, sometimes even more, and it is a very mobile internet, mobile centric usage groups with a lot of also internal gaps inside the group. Not all of Arab citizens in the Arab society in Israel have the same usage patterns, but they do have very high usage of social media, of mobile internet media, and the lack of meaningful connection, a lack of economic development and impact as a result of their internet usage, which is more oriented to social and recreational usages, especially in the periphery of Arab society inside Israel, which can be the Bedouin Arab villages, unrecognized villages in the south, in the Negev, or other more non-urban spaces. The second group, which is a very largely, very fast-growing group inside Israeli society and very unique to Israel, is the ultra-Orthodox Jewish Haredi groups and communities, which is a very, it has a very insular ecosystem of information, of communication and digital uses. Today, it's almost about to be around 10% of Israeli society. It is strongly influenced by very centralized leadership, religious leadership. It has very low trust in mainstream media and low trust in technology at large for ideological and for religious reasons, but also a surprisingly quite high level of internet connectivity in specific services and specific platforms that are suited to the ultra-Orthodox community, which is a bit like sometimes some researchers compare it to Amish communities in North America or other religious groups. They are constrained to more kosher, closed platforms, websites, and applications. And they have, of course, very, very low level literacy rates, low level capacities, and so on. And the third group, which I think is very similar in many countries across the world, maybe, and for sure across the Mediterranean and across Europe, is senior citizens. We look at over the age of 65, which usually in Israel have high connectivity and high high need for digital services, but relatively low literacy and capacity, especially when it comes to security and online safety. They face cognitive, physical, and emotional barriers across different internal groups in this age group, especially in the wake of traumatic events such as COVID pandemic and other attacks. And other crises. So our engagement, reaching the last part of my presentation, our model of engagement to address these diverse needs, we combine rigorous research and digital mapping with direct civic engagement and field activities. We work alongside local leaders, authorities, and civil society organizations to co-create together with the groups and experts from the groups targeted strategies that respond to specific community vulnerabilities and needs. We try to empower groups and give them a seat at the table, you could say, as part of the planning process and engagement. And beyond access, we also try to focus on a meaningful use and meaningful not only connectivity, but also safety and literacy. Access alone is not enough. We emphasize meaningful connectivity, which includes digital safety, literacy, and the ability to use digital tools and platforms effectively for personal and group development. And we think that these are essential components of broader societal resilience in an age of AI and misinformation. And what we offer together with groups coming from the field is a holistic response to digital threats that requires coordinated action from a wide range of stakeholders and fields, from public education and fact-checking networks and infrastructures to funding for research and local projects, to international cooperation on digital rights and equity that is suited specifically for the needs of each group separately. We think there is no one silver bullet that addresses the diverse needs and goals of digital inclusion. One small to finish off my presentation, one small example is our latest project that you can also read about in a publication I can give away here, is called Disinformation Resilience in Israel, which is a new project funded by the EU, executed by ISOC-IL since the middle of last year. It aims to strengthen Israeli society's resilience to disinformation and influence operations by focusing on the vulnerabilities and needs of minority communities within Israeli society and the Israeli media ecosystem. And our first step to constructing this project was mapping key groups and stakeholders inside the ecosystem and formulating tailored recommendations for each group. And you can see that this project has four main pillars. One is public education and media literacy that is specific to each group. The other is training and empowering journalists and fact-checking networks, fostering innovation and researches. And just to finish my last slide with the four main key takeaways or best practices that sum up this presentation. One is from connectivity to literacy and safety, don't stop at connectivity. The second is a multi-stakeholder approach to building societal resilience. The third is research-based community-specific capacity building, combined research and engagement. And the last, and I think the most important, is empowering communities, giving them the agency and the voice to be part of the planning process and part of the whole approach to tackling these challenges. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And you can read about these projects here afterwards if you want. I have some.
Thank you so much, Eden, for sharing with us the Israeli case. If someone from the audience would like to make any comments or questions on Eden's presentation, now is the time, or you can also do it later after all our speakers have presented. So I'm not sure if there's any comments online. I don't see anyone in the room, so we will move on to Egle, who will introduce 6 real-life use cases addressing digital and societal inequalities in intergenerational context. So Egle, whenever you're ready.
Yeah. So hello. Oh, I heard echo. I'm sorry. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So I'm very excited to be here. And today I will share 6 short real-life cases about how communities, organizations, and institutions try to reduce digital and social inequalities. So all the cases are connected to multicultural and intergenerational settings. But before I begin, I would like to ask you a question, all of you. So in your view, what are the biggest inequalities or challenges in multicultural society? And I would like to ask you to open Slido, put the number, you can see it in a slide, and you may find this the same number in chat in a few minutes. And please answer the question. And you can answer anytime during the presentation. At the end, we will look at your answers together. So I would like to begin with very well-known society, Roma integration through media. And this campaign, this is one of a campaign, so-called Know So You Don't Fear. It was created to help people to see and understand Roma culture in a positive and respectful way. It started in Klaipėda and expanded in many cities in Lithuania. 500 video screens in public transport showed short clips featuring Roma individuals and their everyday lives. Also, all this campaign included different events with Roma musicians and dancers performed, and Roma leaders shared their history and stories. One of them said, "Roma are a unique people. We kept our language and tradition, but not by writing, but by telling stories from one generation to next." The campaign was needed. According to surveys, 58% of people say they would want to a Roma person as a neighbor, but most of them never met a Roma person. This initiative used culture and visibility to reduce fear and change all stereotypes. Another initiative, second initiative, would be about vulnerable people, need people, not in education, employment, and training. So this people, this campaign included 240 participants, including Ukrainian refugees. And during the successful Career Academy, we got a chance to join job skill training, career guidance, and mentoring. The results, 96 participants found a job, returned to education, or started their own small business. This case shows how important it is to combine practical skills and personal support to help people move forward. And here in the picture, you may see few mentors from the program. And I'm very happy that this program was implemented by Lietuvos Vaikų Fondas, Lithuanian Children Fund, and the director and founder of this fund is together with us online. And I hope she will be able to say hello to us afterwards. One of other case, it would be Atras.eu. This first case is about building connection through culture, storytelling, and digital tools. This initiative is about interactive tourism. It was created by children from the rural day center in little city, Aukštadvaris. This day center called Navininkai, and together with partners, with seniors, children from home cares, artists and teachers, we created really exciting initiative. And we worked together to create a map, cultural guide, and a game based on legends and stories told by seniors. This initiative brings together different generations and different life experience. Many children involved come from migrant backgrounds or live in a state care. They learn about region's history, while seniors share memories and artists help turn it in interactive tools. So this is very unique initiative, I think not only in Lithuania, but in other countries as well. And it shows how inclusive tourism and digital creativity can support multicultural and intergenerational cooperation. Now, like Eden talked about seniors involvement, so this is one of initiative going on in Lithuania, where seniors are involved in digital literacy. So this case about all the adults and digital literacy, and the project called Let's Overcome Digital Barriers Together. And over 400 seniors participated in a group sessions, and they learn how to use online banking, register to healthcare, and communicate on social media. The project provided new laptops and special tools for better learning. Importantly, what is important, that young volunteers were trained to help seniors. They worked together during classes and also organized public events. This helped older people feel more confident and less afraid using technology in daily life. And I'm very happy that this project is still ongoing, and I hope it will continue in the future as well. One other initiatives is about Anna Lindh Foundation Network. So this case is a part of international network working across 42 countries in the Euro-Mediterranean region. In Lithuania, there are more than 90 organizations who took part in this project and promote intercultural dialogue, anti-racism, and youth education through media and art. The focus is teachers and school staff, and you may see in that picture teachers, our lecturers and teachers. After 2 weeks ago, very recent, we implemented one of the trainings, and the result was astonishing. So it's a good example how culture, education, and cooperation can help reduce prejudice and support inclusion. National Education Research Program implemented by Research Council of Lithuania. So this is national programs. It's the sum really quite big. It's 15.2 million euros. And this funds is invested in 28 projects in 7 different Lithuanian universities. The topics, all the universities, all 28 researchers are quite different, and the topics include digital education, teacher training, motivation, inclusion, assessment. Each team includes scientists, PhD student, and also teacher with practices from schools. The connection, and this shows how connection between research and practice helps to improve the education system, and in real and a magnificent way. So this is the last slide. And before I close, I would like to stop and to share answers. I hope you managed to answer. So I will stop the answers. And I hope we will be able to share. Okay. Okay. So what we found, what is the answer? So what is the biggest inequalities or challenges in multicultural society? So what we can see, digital services often ignore cultural differences. So our answer is about using digital services. Another one highlight economical status in private family and general economical levels. Tech is expensive. Some people don't have a same chance to learn. Language barriers. So thank you for the answers. And I think I was very happy for the opportunity to share a real practice example, and I hope to connect and to meet you all in the near future to implement even more projects and excited ideas. So thank you. If you have any question, I'm open.
Thank you, Egle. So actually, if anyone from the room would like to elaborate on one of the answers that they provided to this Slido, you're welcome to do so now, or maybe after our next speaker has spoken. Nothing, no one online wants to do it. Okay, so now we will move on to Dr. Eva. That I see is already online. So maybe you would like to share with us this last presentation for this panel.
I think you can see my slides.
Yes, we can see them and we can hear you well.
Yeah, very good. So thank you very much. And thank you so much for the invitation to take part in this very important and nice conference during those days. So I have been asked to present a very successful Erasmus Plus project, which we have had for 2 years, a small-scale project, together with Egle, which I've just heard speaking. Because she was the project partner and also her colleagues at Lithuanian College of Democracy in Vilnius, Lithuania. And I was the coordinator for this project. And I'm an independent consultant and researcher and quality reviewer, and also in the board for ICDE, which is the International Council for Open and Distance Education. And I'm a professor in open education and innovation learning. So I will speak briefly on about this project. It ended last year, actually, in February 2024. But still, we are doing a lot of disseminations, and also during the project, we did a lot of disseminations at different kind of conferences. So this is the webpage for our project, Digital Inclusion for All Learners, DI for All. And here at this webpage is still up and running, and we have also all our results, which you can find here on our webpage, and that is free for you. So what was the objectives for this project? It was to improve the key competencies, skills, and learning performance of young people in schools by promoting quality improvements, innovation, excellence at educational levels, and involving digital inclusiveness. And also to improve the competencies of teachers and educators and other staff in schools to promote digital inclusion and tackle disinformation through education and training. So we had a quite wide target group. It was students, it was the school staff, it was schools as such, it was other educational providers, it was public bodies. And what is very important also, we had a possibility to be partner of the Vytautas Magnus University in Lithuania with their national skills program. Sorry, I was a bit ahead of my own slides. So those were the activities, and I started already to say about this national life skills program in Lithuania. And with that, that was very great success because we reached a lot of teachers in Lithuania mainly. So we did a training for trainers, and that was part of this national life skills program. And I will tell you more about what was the content of that and what it included. We did develop guides for educators, with including materials from intellectual outputs of the project, and those are available, as I said, on the webpage. And we also did studies on best practices and case studies. We had an online contest for schools. We did a lot of disseminations, mainly in Europe, because that is the case with European projects, but also actually international, and those were held online. And then we had multiplier events where we met teachers. So I will now briefly go through quite quickly what digital inclusion for all learners, what the course which we developed, what the content was, and we had seminars. I think it was more or less each 14 days. So we had webinars, and we had possibilities to discuss with teachers and to have also to board international speakers. So first of all, we built our course on the SDGs, of course SDG 4, but also all the others, because SDG 4 will lead to achieve and have an impact on the others. We also focus on the future of education, a new social contract. We also focus on open education, why that is important. To expand access to education to everyone, not leaving anyone behind. And for that, you need to do a lot of things. And those were some of them. So we built the courses on open education and on the open principles. We also built a course on the Erasmus Plus prioritized areas about active citizenship, which is the overall goal. And also about green sustainability, inclusion and diversity, about digital transformation. So what I'm showing you now is the content of the course. So we had one session for each of those topics, which I briefly will go through. We talked about the digital competence framework for citizens, which now is available in many languages. And we have the 5 areas about digital content creation, safety, problem solving, communication and collaboration, and information data and data literacy. The DIG Comp is also further developed to schools. Maybe you have come across this one. DIG Comp Edu, it built on DIG Comp, as I said, those 5 areas, but it also takes the educational side for both the teachers on the left-hand side and to the right-hand side for the students. We also talked about the selfie for teachers and the selfie for schools. That is also a free resource. That is also important to mention. All the sources we have used in this course are free, and you can use them free, and they are open with open access. So this is the selfie for the school. And you see already 39,723 schools are involved with some 5 million users and 86 countries, and it is translated into 41 languages. So it's easy to use this one. And many of the sources we have used are from the European Commission, because there's no need to actually develop and reinvent the wheel all the time. It's better to use and adapt and to translate and to contextualize what is already done, especially those sources from the European Commission, which are made by research. We also use the Intercomp framework, which is about resources, ideas, and opportunities, and how that can come into action. We also use this self-evaluation tools about My Digital Skills. It's an online survey, which is also again built on DIGCOMP and the 5 areas, but it's also built on about skills, knowledge, and attitudes. So you get a lot of questions about those 5 areas, and this is when I did it, the result you get immediately when you have filled in the evaluation. You get like a traffic light. If you are green, you are quite good. And if you have some yellow points, you can improve your digital competencies. And if you're red, you may need to do something about it if you really would like to increase your digital competencies. This is also translated into more languages, which I talked about for the selfie. Very many languages, so you can do it in your own language. We also had one session about universal design, because that is needed to really be inclusive and to scale up education and to be sustainable. So with universal design, which can fit not just everybody, but can fit people for their needs. Some of us learn better with media, some of us learn better with reading, some of us learn better with images or listening to things. So we need to have a variety of media as well, and that it can be both diverse but also inclusive. We also use the mandala form, where you could self-assess yourself about your attitudes, skills, and knowledge, both before you go through a model and afterwards. And that is also built on traffic light, as you see. Where are you at, for example, with attitudes? With this yellow one, you maybe have to think about your attitudes about digital competences or digital inclusion. So it's again an image where you can see the results immediately yourself. We had one session about equality, and this is a report I did. I was the research leader by ICDE. So we talked a lot actually about quality and what is quality in online and open education around the globe. And with this research, we surveyed over 40 plus quality models around the globe, both if they were more norm-based or if they were more process-based. So we talked a lot about quality. And those are some criteria for quality in open online and scalable, sustainable, inclusive education. They need to be multifaceted, they need to be dynamic, they need to be mainstreamed, they need to be representative, multifunctional. We also talked about this opening up education from Joint Research Center by the European Commission, which have a quality model on 10 dimensions. For open education, there are 4 transversal: strategy, leadership, quality, and technology. And then there are 6 core dimensions about content, pedagogy, recognition, collaboration, research, and access. And with this you see the ecosystem of open education and also the holistic perspective. Because, for example, leadership, what kind of leadership do you have for open education? That will pave the way for what kind of content you are using, how you access and how you assess learning, and how you collaborate, and how you recognize, and what kind of pedagogy you have. So all those are interrelated to each other. Of course, there are some more quality issues in dimension. For example, you need to increase flexibility in learning approaches, a strong focus on student engagement and satisfaction, about learning analytics, about changing methods for assessments. I used to say that as long as you're not changing the method of assessment, nothing will be changed or transformed for the digital inclusiveness and to digital transformation in education. This is really crucial, and not at least with the AI area we are living in right now. You really need to change the way of assessments. So that is important. And then there are growing demands for recognition of courses and work-based learning. And we all have in mind the consequences of COVID-19. And those people who were quite vulnerable, they were even more vulnerable when everything went online. And if you don't know how to do online education for diversity, inclusion, and equity, and not at least for well-being and care, which are new quality parameters, not at least in COVID-19. There are also some additional factors which we discussed during this course about commitment, engagement, ethics, equity, inclusion, as I mentioned, satisfaction, social emotional dimensions, sustainability, just to mention some. And for that, there is a need for both for policy and planning and human resources and internal engagement, design and development, prioritize. And that was why we had all this wide target group for our project, not just teachers, but also administrators and also leaders and school managers. So to conclude about quality area, it's important to develop a culture of quality and leading with strategy, hands, soul, ethics, actions, and mind. And about to communicate the quality strategy you have, so it is understood at all levels, and about leadership, involvement, and ownership. We talked a lot about emotional literacy. And of course, during the project, we talked also about the pros and cons of AI. Quite recently, we have put everything together. The project is over, but we have we're on our way to get it published in an article in a scientific journal. So we have also now published, collected all the results from our survey we did with the people who took part in this course. And this is just a slide how to show. You see again some of the topics we had for the course and how familiar the respondents were about those topics, and how they apply this knowledge in practice. So with that, I will stop, and I think you get some overview of what we did for this European project, Digital Inclusion for All. So
thank you, Eva, so much for sharing with us this really interesting project. Now I'd like to ask the people in the room to share their views on what our speakers have shared with us, or if you want to take your own chance with commenting on how to bridge these digital inequalities and challenges. Now is your chance to speak.
Well, thank you very much, all the speakers, for wonderful presentations. A question to Eva, and you look to me as somebody, as myself, of a certain age, which has seen it all for quite some time. Now, in your view, Eva, do you think that things have gotten better in the last time? Because it seems to me that this is an evergreen. Every IGF, you're talking about the same, and it is, we are hearing about very good projects and so on. But overall, have things gotten better, or is it just some kind of just fighting windmills?
Eva, if you want to take the question, I think it was pretty much directed at you.
Was it to me?
Yes, it was.
Yes, yes. Of course, a lot of things has happened. Of course, and of course, a lot of things are getting better. But first of all, it depends what we mean by better. That is important, of course, and that was also very much discussed in this during this course. I will say it is a question of leadership very much. Leaders who understand this digital transformation and what it brings for the individuals and for the planet, they are the winners. And with that, they have possibilities to improve. And that was also very much shown during the COVID-19 pandemic period, because leaders who understood what it really meant to go online and to opening up education and to really take the learners' perspectives, personalized learning, they did it pretty well. Those who just put everything online, what they already have in the classroom, they fail a lot. And those students, those learners, those staff really, really suffered, really suffered. So again, it depends what you mean by quality. But I think this is really, as a quality reviewer, this is really, really on my heart of a discussion, because I always used to say, as I also briefly presented, you need to have this ecosystem and a holistic perspective, because then you have better chances to improve. If you just, for example, look at teacher training and nothing else, I mean, teacher training is important, but if you don't look at the infrastructure, the services, the support you have for teachers and staff, a lot of things will fall in between the shares. So the ecosystem and the holistic system is important. And those teachers, trainers, admin staff, leaders who understand that, they will both survive, but they will also succeed. And I would also like to stress that it is not just one person's responsibility. And that was why I had on my slide. You need to look at this with your hand, by attitude, by action, by strategies, by mindset, attitudes. So everything goes together. That maybe was a long answer, but that is my view.
Thank you so much, Ave. Yes, we have another question in the room. Please go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Marilia Maciel. I am Director for Digital Trade and Economic Security at Diplo. And I also develop research on disinformation. So my question is to the colleague from ISOC. I don't know if you looked at disinformation. You presented us with a very comprehensive and interesting panorama of the situation. And it seemed to me that you focus quite a bit on media literacy, which is one of the tools that we have in our hands to combat disinformation. But at the same time, there's quite an importance to focus on actions from regulators or self-regulation that aims to attack the problem at the source and reduce the exposure in the environment. I was just wondering, how are you dealing? Because in societies that are challenging, polarized, it's usually the moment in which this information takes off. And if you have an approach like other countries have that try to separate foreign sources of disinformation, domestic disinformation, how are you dealing with this situation? If you could share some views from your research or personal perspectives. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I think it's a very, very timely question and very relevant. And this is something that has been, we have been dealing with intensively in the last few months. First of all, we come from a very conflicted or polarized situation, like you said. And one of the problems we have is that there is no motivation or incentive for policymakers and for regulators to regulate and to somehow control social media. So this is not a tool right now we can even use or address. We know our government and our parliament is not willing to regulate social media, and we try to find solutions that don't come from regulation or don't come from self-regulation of platforms, because we are also not only a conflict zone, but also quite marginalized on the edge of Europe, very small language, very small market. And so there also for platforms, there aren't a lot of incentives to moderate or self-regulate. And the other thing you talked about is trying to understand sources of disinformation and influence, which usually try to disguise themselves as internal sources, and we have a lot of foreign interference that is trying to polarize and that is trying to escalate internal discourse and internal conflict, disguising themselves as internal actors. And I think authorities and civil society and researchers, we have a very hard job at looking at the sources and trying to separate local or foreign interference. This is some of maybe of the biggest challenges. That's why we think going first of all to the users as a first line of defense, you could say, or a second line of defense, is very, very important. We think it doesn't really matter if the source is external or internal. The users, the civilians, they have to have some kind of a capacity to deal with it. And the other thing we do, which I think is very important and useful, is to try to empower media, local media and journalism, which also needs a lot of help in our country and is also under very political pressures and financial pressures, like in many other conflicted countries, and civil society. So I think together these three actors, the media, the civil society, and users themselves, have to develop some kind of mechanism to defend themselves, to fact check, and to use verified sources. That's another thing we're trying to push for. And before we talk about regulation or moderation by platforms, establishing and enforcing certified, verified sources of information. It could be state information or academic information or journalism, but also that will be available for all groups. Okay, so it has to be available in Arabic, it has to be available maybe in Russian for the Russian immigrant community, it has to be available also in ultra-Orthodox communities. So I hope, and I'll be glad to elaborate afterwards. Thank you for your question.
Yes, thank you. So we have 1 minute left. Maybe I would like our speakers to have one closing statement, short, maybe like a tweet statement. And Egle, maybe we can start with you.
Yes, thank you. So my statement would be that there is no one solution, but many connected action that together move us closer to inclusion. So it would be about connection people and different initiatives which were presented during our presentation. So thank you for the opportunity one more time.
Thank you, Egle. And Eva?
Yes, my statement for this topic will be about, first of all, the topic of inclusion and sustainability and scalability. And you need to have all those three hand in hand. And you need also to develop a culture of care, curiosity, and challenges. So the cultural aspect is very important. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And last but not least, Erin?
So my message will be work with communities, not just for them. I think it's very important to empower local leaders, influencers, and organizations to give them voice and agency in the process of digital inclusion through participatory planning and implementation. That's a tweet, I hope.
That's a perfect tweet, all three of you. So now I would like to give the floor to Jacques, our rapporteur, so that he can share the messages for this session.
Thank you for well moderating, and thank you for the floor. I will continue and try to share my screen. Here we go. So I was carefully listening in, and came up with the following three proposals for messages. So first, I read it aloud for those who cannot read it. Infrastructural and social gaps lead to disparities in internet access, especially in geographically isolated peripheral areas, as e.g. highlighted in the ISOC-IL report, but also amongst different groups in society, including differences between generations. Then we are moving away from the geographical and the infrastructure aspect to a more content-oriented. Diversity and, well, just a question, is that okay? For the moment, we will have, we can just discuss it once we are through all three paragraphs. So the second would be diversity and unequal opportunities lead to differences in internet usage patterns, affecting digital literacy skills and the capacity to effective online engagement in eminent areas like retrieving information, public and private digital services from social media to online banking, as well as education in general. Factors of age, gender, culture, and others also lead to increased vulnerability of specific groups to online harms, such as phishing, misinformation, cyberbullying. And then the third paragraph will be about possible move forward. These divides require actionable strategies and policies for a more diverse, inclusive, and equitable digital future. To this end, leadership, multi-stakeholder collaboration, and focused, well-thought-through projects are essential, including engaging governments, civil society, academia, and tech companies. Now that we have the full picture, first, are we okay with the structure? So we see as main points infrastructure, so access, and second, what's on it, and third, what can we do? And then any addenda except that there is a blank too much, which I will correct immediately.
So if anyone would like to add anything to the messages, if you feel like there was a key point that is missing, you can speak now or forever hold your peace.
I would like just to thank you because it was impressive how after have a quite diverse presentation, you pointed out very important topics from the background to what we can do and how to move forward. So thank you for summarizing and highlighting the most important messages which we shared today. Thank you. It was brilliant.
Thank you for these flowers.
Thank you, Jacques, and thank you, Pilar, for moderating and managing the whole session. Yes.
And it is not speak up now or remain silent forever, because this is not the case. You will, if I'm well informed, have the opportunity to still comment on the draft messages in the coming days. So they will become available, if I'm well informed, in about 2 weeks' time, and may then be shared with whoever pressure groups and or targets, according to the third paragraph, you may see fit.
Perfect. So thank you so much, Jacques, and all of our speakers for sharing their insights, and for all of you for being here. And now I would like to give back the floor to our remote moderator for the closing remarks.
Well, thank you everybody for being here in this session. And the next session will be in generative AI and freedom of expression, mutual reinforcement, or forced exclusion at 14:30. We look forward on seeing you back then. For more information, EuroDIG Wiki. Thank you very much.